We'll be driving down the state, yeah. Looking around for the next crowd, yeah. Going our own way, trying to find a new route, yeah. We'll be going in circles, trying to find a way, searching for.
Gotta love it. On the button, off she goes. Molly fires straight up. It's pretty cold out here as well. It's like 2 degrees. It was -2 last night, -5 tonight up here in the Yorkshire Moors. It's been a couple of months since we started her, since we got back, you know, from the trip in the Project Overland vehicle, Spain and Portugal, back in December, and here we are. It's official. Project Molly is back on the go. I've literally been so excited for this moment to get back onto this one. Just the other day, Alex came up and he bought the Project Overland vehicle, so that's off to a new home now. I'm so glad it was someone from, you know, YouTube, from the community, so we're going to see more of that about. It's fantastic. So happy it went to a good home. Yeah, let's do this. A few things happening around here. Exciting. It's pretty basic, but we're actually in the process of setting up a little workshop here. You know, first preview. This only started yesterday. Cleared this part of the barn out. Woohoo! Just putting up some sheeting. Gonna get a clear one on the front. That's like a door. Gonna get some proper matting down on the floor here. A workbench at the back. Bring in some power. Just a nice place, you know, to keep out of the weather here in North Yorkshire, in the dry, a little bit warmer. Maybe we'll rig up some kind of heating. That's a good point, actually. Do any of you guys know, like, what's a good kind of cheap way to heat a space? Maybe like one of those gas heaters or something that, you know, blows hot air, like I can't remember what they're called, like a torpedo heater or something. That's what I was looking at. But do you guys know anything else that's like simple, easy and cheap? Filthy animal.
Grinding, grinding, grinding.
To the left, to the left. Woohoo! You think it's like summer or something?
Just perfect.
This series is proudly sponsored by
Been doing the rounds of Marketplace. I'm going to get a few things ready for the new workshop. This big bad boy unit here, a couple of doors, a couple of locks, just keep some tools and bits and pieces in, and that'll be handy. I'll stick that up the back here, so we'll get some sort of bench going and do stuff on there. It's going to be nice. Nice to get out the weather anyway, so we'll make this nicer. First of all, going to give Molly a wash. She's got a bit of green all around her from sitting under the tree for half the summer whilst we were doing the other stuff, the other projects. It's her time now, so let's get her cleaned off, get her in the dry in the new workshop, and yeah, we can talk a bit more about what's going to be happening.
I just wanna get to know ya. I wanna go far to the coast, yeah. I wanna drive fast to the ocean. I wanna know all of you. Growing old like a ghost, yeah. I wanna have kids of my own, yeah. Live a life till it's over. But until we do, it's sleeping soon. Yeah, I'm feeling a little crazy. Sat at home being lazy. Wanna travel till I'm 80. Flying with you.
Well, how about that? The battery died on the camera. So here we are, it's the next day. Yeah, so had some progress on this workshop now. That's where we are, if you hadn't noticed already, in this dark place, which is soon to have lighting, because, you know, buying some bits and pieces for it. Got ourselves some lighting there, but we need some 240 power in here first. So I'm gonna wire some in the next few days, get ourselves a little workbench set up. But now it's time to sort of start getting Molly sorted. Of course, we said that before. Here she is in all her glory. Ooh, and yeah, so I think today I'm gonna start by jacking her up, put her on some axle stands at the front. I may have got a little bit carried away there, sorting out things for the workshop. Just set up this workbench so I can actually, you know, do some stuff up here, have somewhere to work. Here is said steering box from a Mark II, but actually I'm kind of thinking at the moment that we might, because I'm pretty certain, kneeling on bubble wrap if you wonder what that sound is. Might actually just start with seeing if we can change the idler on its own. Looks quite a similar match, so if you look at this, it's hard to do it and hold the camera. If you look at that, I think that's where our problem lies. The whole sort of shaft through the middle is completely bent, so that's why we've lost our steering feel. But anyway, you can kind of see it on the angle there. But basically, we want to get this through MOT. It's a bit of an explanation of why we're doing all this at the moment. And I think it's going to be, well, we've got to have the steering working properly. We've got to have this windscreen change because there's a big old crack over on the other side. Actually ordered that, going to pick it up on Thursday. It's Tuesday now. And a new rubber to go around that. I'll probably have to take that out and sort of clear out and repaint all the inner edge of the screen, so that's all sorted before anything else. I'm loving my lights. Just rigged up a little 12-volt system for the time being. Going to charge it with a solar panel out the back on the other side of the wall. But yeah, this is where we're at. Continue to change over this idler, see where we're at then. Now, if you look at that Mark II one, it actually lines up with the bolts perfectly, only there's one missing because of course on the old one it was only 3-bolt mounted. I've seen people do that before, it should be fine, so we'll do that. Just get this back on and that should be much better indeed. The only question I have is whether there's going to be an issue be running a Mark II idler with a Mark I steering box. I don't know if the sort of angles or things are right, but we'll soon find out, won't we? So if it steers alright, drives alright, then we know we're good. Get it for the MOT. I want to change that steering box on the other side anyway, but I don't think the bolts line up quite on the steering box, so there needs a little bit of custom fab there on the top mounts. Need to slightly drill out new holes and weld in some new crush tubes, things like that. But if this gets us through the MOT, until we can do that, that'll be brilliant. Keep getting interrupted.
I wonder why.
Not by this one, actually.
Oh yeah.
These guys have been the last few hours just standing there pecking the raindrops off my sheet. Who encourages them?
I only feed them. It's not my fault that they are so special.
Like little velociraptors.
Yep.
Alright, so that's all back together. Fits pretty perfect really, actually. Much stronger design. Oh, so I was here and I thought, well, we better check everything while we're doing MOT. Giving everything a jiggle. All the ball joints look good, but these pads definitely needed changing, eh? I've only probably changed them a year ago or so. I mean, ain't done that many miles, but I suppose automatic, it's heavy, especially in the front brakes too. Yeah, good timing, because I think that would have maybe not passed the MOT, maybe just, probably not, I don't know. What do you think? And while we're here, I'm gonna take this hub off and just nip up the bearing locking ring, just because when I had the wheel on, I noticed there was a bit of play in this one. Oh, hello. So yeah, do that, make sure that's good. Otherwise, both sides sound pretty good, feel pretty good. There's no unusual noises there, so yeah, just nip it up.
Do something. Would you by my side like it's nothing? Wanna buy you think that you want it. Wanna find you drop top without
So the gasket kind of fell apart. I took that off. It's not that old, but I had to get a new gasket. Or use some instant gasket or something. But otherwise, looks clean in there. No sign of water or anything. So that's good. So I'll get the rest of it off now, so we can tighten up that wheel bearing.
growing old like a ghost, yeah. I wanna have kids of my own, yeah. And live a life till it's over. But until we do, it's sleeping too long.
I could feel the play in that bearing with the wheel on this side, because that's the tensioner. It's very loose, so that would be why. And we can just nip that off a bit. Don't want them over tight, you want it to be able to spin still. But yeah, that was the cause of that. Okay, so took the hub off, and it's actually pretty yucky in here, so I think kind of been getting some water in through the sort of back seal of the hub. If you look up here, it is really yucky in there. So I've made a decision the bearings seem okay, so I'm going to stick with the original bearings. We've got spares anyway if we ever lose one on the road, but I'm going to clean all this up on both ends and re-grease, repack the bearings. I already have some Penrite high temp wheel bearing grease. The Australian stuff is supposed to be really good, so I'm going to use that. And yeah, make this all good, ready. You want that peace of mind anyway, just so everything's working as it should and nice and clean, new grease, ready for any big trips that come up. Got both hubs off. As we know, it's pretty yucky in there, so next job, take all these bearings out, give them a real good clean up, hubs, bearings, repack the bearings, reassemble. Looking a lot better, cleaned all that crap out. That's only the half of it. Yuck. So yeah, now going to clean up the bearings themselves and repack, reassemble. It's funny how these jobs, they always turn into way more than you anticipated. I mean, what did I start with? I've almost forgotten now, but I think it was just going to do the steering idler to get that sorted for MOT, then move on to the windscreen, but here we are. Hubs disassembled, all in pieces, doing the bearings and everything, brake pads. Probably find some more before we get onto the windscreen as well, but there you go, that's the way of it. It's kind of all right now. I've got the workshop as well. I'm kind of enjoying it, having the space to work out here and just get on with it without any kind of rush or anything, no time pressure, just go with the flow. So yeah, everything's pretty cleaned up now, so any remaining grease, I'm not going to soak these, I'm just going to push the old grease out by packing them with new grease. Everything's clean in there. We're going to start with the backs, the rear bearing in and seal. These seals seem to survive quite nicely. Doesn't seem to be any damage on them, but definitely not helping. Should have taken it off. Rear hub bearings repacked back in. Going to try and get this seal in now. Hopefully that goes in easy enough. Probably not, but let's see. Nice. Now the back's done, just do the same to the front. And then we should be ready to put these babies back on. So kind of got the hang of this now. Just keep a bit in the palm of the hand at the back of their palm and then just work it in constantly. And you'll see, you can see that it's coming through. On the side, the old stuff is coming off, so coming through. So we're going to get that all out and then wipe it off and then do it again until we got just blue grease coming through. Pop that in there. Together, loaded, ready to go on. Right, so we fast forwarded a bit now. Yeah, all these, both sides, hubs are back together, brakes are back together, the new pads and everything. I've also gone over everything in this area, hub area, with lano guard, so just use a brush so you can get it where you want and not where you don't want it. Just done, you know, the hubs, the carriers, some of the brake brackets and things, everything just to keep that nice and fresh and keep the rust out. Soon we've got to do the rest of the car, so we'll, you know, get the pressure washer under there and treat all that too. But for now we're focusing on MOT, so next job of the day is to get that windscreen out and replace it with a brand new one, which is here. We have this brand new screen. Picked it up in Yorkshire actually, only an hour away, which was brilliant. Only cost 90 odd quid, which I thought was not too bad for what it is. And we've also got a brand new windscreen seal there to go on. But first to figure out how to get this old one. These ones just sit in a seal, they're not like bonded or anything, so hopefully shouldn't be too bad. And get that in without breaking it. 2 hours later, gave up and got rough with it. It seemed like proper stuck in there with a... That's why it's 30-something years old. That's why we're using the excuse anyway.
Proper beast mode activated.
Glass everywhere, but it's out. Don't look too bad behind there either. Okay, it is the next day. Yesterday was pretty frustrating. I mean, it took hours trying to get that out. I was trying to do it as cleanly as possible, but as you saw, the whole thing shattered and it was a nightmare, so there's probably an easier way. But I was struggling anyway. Maybe because I didn't have the right tools. So I was trying to get some wire behind to cut any glue out. I didn't think these had glue, but apparently this one does. I think it might have been added later around the edge to maybe just stop a leak or something. But yeah, the wire kept snapping and stuff, so that didn't really work. So in the end, we just had to get brutal with it, rip the thing out. The job is to clean all this up, because part of the reason I wanted to do this myself is because I wanted to clean up any rust that was forming sort of behind the windscreen, because you know it's quite a common area for that to happen. You find that this lip sort of rots away and stuff, but this is remarkably clean. There's like literally no rust, a very slight amount of rust. The worst bit I can find is this corner edge here. It's all still solid, it's just a little bit of paint started to come up on that lip. I think that might have been where the leak was coming from. So I'm just we're gonna clean this all up with white spirit and get all the glue off first, and then we're gonna wire wheel that back, etch prime it and white paint it. Not going to worry about the edges for the moment, because something very exciting is happening fairly soon. What are we in? We're near the end of January now, but Molly is booked in for a full custom Raptor paint job in April, beginning of April. Well, like the 10th or something. Yeah, she's going in. Don't worry guys, I know you're like, oh no, don't paint her, her colours are amazing, which they are, yes, but the paint is nearly 35 years old and it is really showing it in places. There's rust, little spots coming through, solid, but there's rust spots coming through all over the body here and there. You just have to take a close look, for example. It's like this, and the paint has lost it's gone porous basically, and there's, you know, it's just in a bad way. Stuff needs sorting now before anything gets too drastic. And you see in these gaps and things. So yeah, that is the plan. We're going to keep it original styling. So what's really cool is that the graphics, because you'd be worried about those, I know they're vinyl now, but they're actually we're going to get them re-stenciled on in Raptor. So the car is going to be stripped down, anything repaired, and then the whole thing is going to be painted in the same two-tone with the black bottom half and, well, bottom fifth or whatever it is. And then instead of white, we're actually going to change the white. Okay, so it is a change, but a slight change. We're going to change it from white to like a light sand or a desert sand, which I think is going to look really cool. Yeah, what do you think about the colour choice? Light sand, but with the same graphics, the original style of graphics stenciled on. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments on that. I'm pretty excited. A couple of months to get everything sorted before that date. Do a few trips hopefully. That's cleaned up. Looking very tidy indeed. Just that little bit in the corner to worry about there. Prepped all the metal work now around. Just put so wire brushed it all out, as much rust as possible. Put some of this Vactin rust converter on, that's drying. Christina is masking up, and then we'll get some etch primer on there. The filmy holes.
Right. I'm excited.
It's going to use some of the fine stuff because it's only the small holes this time.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I've used two different primers It's because I didn't want to go, the red oxide primer that I got is like a high build primer, so I've used it in the areas that are a bit rough, so try and level that out a bit, whereas the rest of the frame, obviously don't want to put too many layers on there, because the screen's got to go in there, so it's just regular etch primer on some of the other bits where it's needed, and then yeah, white next. Remember, the outside is not important because it's all going to be raptored soon. Not bad. All tidy in the gap, which is what we wanted. And here we witness a pro in action, setting up the rope trick or string trick.
Business.
Yeah.
Holding your breath.
Hold my breath. Okay.
Right. Here it goes.
Make sure we level up. We're going to sit it in the bottom, aren't we? That's what they did. They set it in.
On the bottom. Okay. And it's official. Molly has.
The new windscreen is in.
Exactly. It's a success.
Oh, stressful.
It was.
We did it.
We found it quite nerve-wracking, particularly with the interior, to
Probably
fit that
won't do it
right
again.
in. No, can we
But
do
we
it
done it.
insured?
Now we know what
Otherwise
it's like.
next time. Oh dear.
Anyway, that pretty much like sums us up for MOT now. Screen's in, steering sorted, did all those brakes and bits, and a few other things here and there. So I'm thinking, yeah, we'll probably leave this video here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll be on to the next part of this build series very soon, so stay tuned. Yeah, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great week. Catch you soon.
Adios.